Top prospect Kade Mercer made his AHL debut last episode, and the young rookie put up some stellar numbers, getting himself a call-up to the NHL. He now has a chance to make the roster for the rest of his rookie season, so let's head to the ice and see if he can do so. Kade's NHL debut would be at home with the Sharks, taking on the Detroit Red Wings, and would see his first minutes of NHL play on the ice 5 minutes into the first period, down 1-0 against Detroit. Mercer was not even on the third line yet of the team, so the minutes he did have on the ice were going to be few and far between, so he needed to make the most of his time when he could to impress the coaches. Scoring a goal in his NHL debut was not very likely, especially given the amount of time he was going to have on the ice, but doing so sure would impress the team and hopefully earn him some more minutes. That would not happen though in this one, and this game was going to be going to overtime against Detroit, and even though Kade would not see any ice time during the overtime period, his team would score quickly, picking up a win in his NHL debut, where in only 8 minutes of playing time for the rookie, he was able to at least get up 2 shots on goal for his team. It was now time for Kade Mercer's first ever road game in the NHL, and this would be a test to see how a top young rookie could handle himself in front of a hostile crowd on the road that wanted to see him and his team play poorly tonight. Kade would not see any time on the rink until the second period, and it was still tied 0-0, so his team needed to find the back of the net quickly to steal some momentum in this one. Thankfully, they would find 2 goals in the third period, none of which came from Kade, but he was still looking to try and find either his first career goal or assist near the end of this game for his team. That stat unfortunately would not come for him, but he was still happy to celebrate with his team, getting a road win over the Kraken to advance to 7-6-1 on the season. Mercer and the Sharks were back at home for this one, taking on the Winnipeg Jets. This game would be a great test for the young rookie, as not only was he going up against one of the best teams in the league, but one of the best goalies in the NHL as well tonight. If he was able to secure his first career goal tonight against this defense, it would be a huge confidence boost for him going forward. In the second period, that had still not happened yet, and the Jets defense was really giving Kade a tough time tonight, even just keeping control of the puck away from them. Turnovers had never really been an issue for Kade so far in his career, but against a top defense like this, they were easily exploiting his weaknesses tonight. This right here might be Kade's welcome to the NHL moment, as Gustav Nyquist absolutely obliterates Kade against the boards, but that wasn't going to deter the young rookie, as he was still hanging in there and putting up shots for his team late in the third period tonight. Unfortunately, Winnipeg would get the win, handing Kade his first loss with the Sharks in the NHL, but his team was looking to get back on track, as they had a home game against the Florida Panthers up next and were down 2-1 near the end of the first period. Kade Mercer would not see any ice time after that until the third period, and this game had turned from bad to ugly to worse real quick for the Sharks tonight. It was so bad for the team, in fact, that we had to make a goalie switch in the third period, but that change would not help the team at all, as Mercer and the Sharks would get blown out of the water here at home by the Panthers. 4 games into Kade's NHL career now, and the front office had seen enough from the young rookie, giving him a chance to officially make the team. If he wanted to do so, over the next 8 games, Kade had to maintain a 40-form score and get 16 shots on goal to move up to the third line. Those 8 games start now, as Kade and the Sharks get ready to square off against the Minnesota Wild on the road in a grudge match. These next 8 games for Kade Mercer might very well be the most important and pivotal 8 games of his entire career leading up to this point. The rookie is going to have to average at a minimum 2 shots on goal per game if he even wants a shot at staying on the team and moving up to the third line for more consistent playing time, and not to mention having to maintain a 40-form score throughout all of these games as well. The rookie would unfortunately miss the mark in this first game of 8 with only 1 shot and a 36-form score against the Wild, but had an opportunity to get back on track with a road game coming up against the Calgary Flames. Kade would have some early time out on the ice in the first period against the Flames, and would get things started by recording his first shot on goal tonight, now only needing 2 more. He was not helping his case though with the coaching staff by getting called for dumb mental mistakes, like getting called for offsides here near the end of the second period. Down by 1 now to the Flames in the third period, Mercer would have a chance to get off his second shot on goal, but unfortunately it would be taken away from him on the fast break. That would not be his last chance though, as later in the third period, Even though it was a very weak backhand shot that would be blocked, this would still count as Kade's second shot on goal for the night. Despite reaching the 2 goals needed, it was still not a great game for Mercer and the Sharks, as they would end up losing this one to the Flames tonight, and Kade would once again fail to reach the 40 form score he needed to average now for a second straight game. 3 games into this 8-game stretch, and Kade Mercer had only managed to find 3 shots on goal and was below the 40 form score average he needed if he wanted to be moved up to the third line for the Sharks. He was hoping that would change tonight against the Seattle Kraken, as they were currently one of the worst teams defensively in the league, and he had a very solid performance against them not too long ago in only his second career game of the season. The Sharks were exploiting that poor defense so far tonight from Seattle, as they jumped out to an early 4-0 lead here in the second period, and Kade was managing to find himself some open looks at the net as well in this period. Nothing had fallen for him yet though, as he was now 7 games into the NHL season, and the second overall pick had still yet to record a single assist or goal for his team in those games. The rookie was, however, getting plenty more looks at the goal tonight than he had the last 2 games, and should bring his average shots up over the 2 with no problem if this carries on the rest of the night. Headed into the third period now, and it is hard to believe, but this is the first time Kade has been on the ice when a goal has been scored by his team. That does not sound like a good stat for Kade, but it is tough to blame him when he was averaging less than 12 minutes per game each night. It was no surprise that San Jose would pick up the massive win tonight on the road against Seattle, and Kade Mercer was officially back on track to make the third line, as his shots were up to 7 and score form average a 41 through the first 3 games of 8 for him. Now, I have seen you guys mentioning in the comments that Kade needs to improve his wrist shot accuracy and not his slap shot, so that is exactly what we are going to do with this upgrade, and we'll continue to focus on developing that attribute to hopefully help us find the back of the net a little more than we currently are. Kade Mercer had 5 games remaining to try and get promoted to the third line, but that was not going to happen if he went all 8 games without recording a single assist or goal in that time. Thankfully, that would change, as Kade would pick up his first career NHL assist to Carl Grundstrom to help put the Sharks in a 2-0 lead over the Mammoth here in the second period. That would be all the time Kade saw on the ice though, as we were headed to overtime against Utah, and despite the rookie getting his first career assist in this game, Utah would pull off the comeback against the Sharks. At least we can no longer say that Kade Mercer has not recorded a single stat in his time in the NHL anymore, and that he was trending increasingly likely to being promoted to the third line if he kept this level of play up. The San Jose Sharks were on a bit of a losing streak the last few games, and Kade really wanted to help his team turn things around in this next game against the LA Kings at home. The rookie, although he now had his first assist, was still looking for his first career goal, and what better place to do it than in front of the home fans who were excited for their second overall pick to succeed. This goal still had not come yet for the rookie, and once again he seemed to be struggling with turnovers on the ice and trying to control the puck for too long by himself. Once again, that would be the last time Kade saw the ice in this matchup, and his team's losing streak would continue with this game against the Kings. Another 2 shots on goal though, and a continually improving form score was a great sign for not only the rookie, but the front office who drafted him as well. Kade was not the only one who wanted to be a successful draft pick, as the front office for San Jose had a lot riding on the second overall pick rookie as well. Their rookie was still looking for his first goal, and I mean, look at how close this shot came from Kade to being that very first goal of his NHL career, as it bounces off the goalpost and the goalie's back. That first goal would come soon though, as Kade Mercer, the front office, and the fans just had to be patient as the rookie kept putting up really good looks at the net like this one. San Jose was now down 2-1 in the second period against the Senators, and the offense was coming so close to tying it up, but just couldn't find the back of the net on these few looks at it. Now with just over 2 minutes to go in the period, they would finally get the goal they needed, and Kade would be credited with his second career assist in the NHL, but that goal wouldn't hold them for long, as we would jump to the third period, and once again the Senators had a 1-goal lead over the Sharks. 10 minutes later, and both teams had scored another goal of their own, and Kade would have the opportunity to try and tie it up for the Sharks with just under 4 minutes to go here in the third period, but he would not be able to stick the shot, and unfortunately this losing streak for the Sharks would continue for them with what felt like no end in sight. There were some positives though, as Kade had exceeded the 16 goal mark with 18, and his form score was now up over a 50. rookie. Now it was just a matter of trying to record that first career goal and help his team snap this losing streak. The fans in San Jose were growing restless at this point. They wanted to see their top pick in the draft score a goal, and they wanted their team to stop their losing streak tonight. One of those things was bound to happen very soon, and it would be Kade Mercer's first career goal. We have waited 10 games for this moment, and finally, the second overall pick in this year's draft records his first career NHL goal. And what a beauty was it as he comes off the boards and finds it in the upper deck. Despite finally scoring his first career goal in the NHL, Kade's team was not looking too hot in the stopping the losing streak department, as they were now down 3-1 in the second period. With the types of look though that Mercer was getting against the Boston net, I wouldn't be surprised if we even saw him rack up 2 goals in this game against the Bruins. The rookie had gradually been getting more and more time on the ice, and so far tonight, this was the most playing time he had seen in his entire time up in the NHL so far. And that meant a lot to him because it seemed like coach was finally starting to trust Kade more and knew that if he wanted to start developing and reach his full potential as a top rookie, he needed more time on the ice to do so. Somehow, the Sharks had managed to come back in the third and send this one to overtime, but the losing streak would not end as Boston took this one in OT. With Kade finally scoring that first career goal, we had one of our 2 remaining goals completed. Let's see if in this last game, Kade can help complete that last goal and finally snap this losing streak that's been going on for way too long now. It wasn't looking too good for Kade Mercer and the Sharks early on here in the first period as they were down 3-1, and even though the young rookie was getting some looks at the net, nothing was able to fall for him or his teammates. What was looking good, thankfully though, was his chances of moving up to the third line with the Sharks, and that will definitely help improve his stats as through these past 12 games, they haven't quite been what we've been used to seeing from the young rookie. Despite the low stat line through these 12 games, Kade was racking up some more stats in this one, and maybe some bad ones too, as this is going to be the first defensive blunder we see from the rookie in the NHL. Ultimately, the Avalanche would be too much to handle for the Sharks, and this losing streak would continue. So now it was just a matter of time to see if coach kept Kade or sent him back to the AHL. All of the tasks the front office had given Kade, he managed to complete in these 8 games, and just like that, he would be moving up and promoted to the third line for the Sharks. Not only that, but coach was so impressed with his play, he was going to give him 8 more games to try and move up to the second line. And that is where we will pick up next episode as Kade is officially in the third line for the Sharks.